Hi, hello. My name is Simon, yes, of Moonstar Board Games. I am accompanied with Kuri, who has had enough of me recording by myself and just absolutely had to be a part of this, apparently. I love board games. In this series, what I like to do is to discuss a game which I really, really like and to explain why you might also like it too. Sweetheart, I gotta, I know. Okay, can I, please? Okay. Okay, say goodbye, Kiri. Yes. So in this video, I am going to look at the game Radlands. Radlands, published by Roxley Games, designed by Daniel Piesznik. I think that's how you say your name, Daniel. Radlands is a two-player card drafting and card playing game, very, very similar to Magic the Gathering and other tradable collectible games in which you are taking cards into your hand, playing cards in order to cause damage to either the cards that have been placed by your opponent or to ultimately place damage against your opponent themselves, thus winning the game. I won't be giving a full overview of the rules of this game as I don't in any of these videos. If you're interested in how the game specifically plays, go have a look at it. But the elevator pitch for Radlands is it's a two-player collectible card game, collectible-esque card game in which you're playing a game very similar to Magic the Gathering, except you're sharing a deck between the two players, so you never need to get more and more cards. There's no collectible element to this game. You're pulling from a shared deck of cards and playing them in order to win. There is a small resource available in the factor of, or in the form of water, which adds a little bit of a nuanced resource utilization, or how do I develop this resource in order to play stronger cards. But the game is very, very simple. It's very, very simple. There's the game. Like, that's the game. And it's nice, there's two of them for both players. So what I like about this game, first, again, it feels like you're playing Magic, or any other TCG, whether it's Lorcana or whatever. It feels like that, except you're not being pushed into an abusive relationship of having to continually buy new cards in order to be an effective player. Because both players are choosing from the same deck of cards, there's an inherent balance in that. And so you're playing against your opponent, not against the deck that your opponent has been able to acquire, which is nice. I do also like, there are a couple of, there are introductory camps. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to destroy your opponent's free camps. And each camp has a different special thing that camp can do. And there are a lot of camps. There are a lot of camps. So every game will be very, very different, not just for you, but for your opponent, and how those free camps are playing into each other. So again, not to talk about Magic too much, but this is a very Magic feeling game. Instead of having health, you have these free camps, and if your opponent can damage your camp twice, they destroy the camp. If they've destroyed all three of your camps, then they lose and you win. Again, you are still playing cards out to protect your camp, and for those cards to then go and do attacks. For us, we've played this game a lot. I would say probably like 20-25 times at this point we've played this game a lot. This is the deck of cards that are your effective actions that will go into your hand. We've played this game a lot. We have had to make, I'll be straight up with you, we have had to make certain adjustments to this game for it to feel more balanced for us. One of the inherent difficulties of making a game like this that feels like a TCJ but does not have an FAQ or does not have cards to change things or banning cards, etc., is that you're kind of stuck with the cards that you have. And so we as a group, or me and my friend Ethan, who I play this game with, we have decided that there are some cards that we just don't want in this deck. One of those cards is Bombardment. If you can pull this card, if you can pull both of these cards, and it has happened to us, if you can pull both of these cards very soon to each other, or you just hold one in the hope that you get the second one, so you can play both of them very quickly after each other, then it's busted combo. Also, Magnus Carve, we find this to be a little too strong for us and how we play. I'm sure many people will have many disagreements on that because this is a very light game. But for us, having played this, like I say, at least 25, we've played this game a lot, at least 25 times. Playing a game like this with one shared deck 25 times is a significant amount of games into one game like this. I think the only other card game that I've played more that's a board game is probably Race for the Galaxy, and we were able to break that. This was a long time ago when I was younger. Bartholomew and myself in the Netherlands on exchange, student exchange, we played that game hundreds of times. And if you do anything in enough numbers, you'll eventually start to break the game because you're breaking your meta, right? Like how does this table play? They will learn how to effectively beat each other every single time in a game that has a shared deck of cards. In terms of, again, why should you play this? It's fairly quick. It's a quick game. It's pretty strategic. There are a lot of ways that the game will set up and play. If you like TCJs, this will scratch that itch, but for a very cheap price. This is the Kickstarter version, so my cards are plastic with thingy pebbles. I do have the mats too, which are really nice, but you don't need them, but they are really nice. They do elevate the game. I don't think you could play this game on an airplane table, but you can play this game on a pub table very easily. So I like this. I do really like this game a lot. Once we remove the cards that we found over multiple games to be too problematic, we remove them, and now we have a game which, if we're like, man, I can't, like, we don't play Magic anymore. I haven't played it in a long time. But if I'm like, man, I really kind of want to play Magic, or I want to play something very similar to Magic, this goes right on the table, sets up very quickly. It's fairly quick to remember how to play it as well, and it plays quite quickly as well. Once those free camps start to go down, or even after 2 camps go down, sometimes now we'll be like, we play the game enough that we're like, okay, we can kind of call it. It's kind of like playing 40K and calling it in the 4th round because things are done. So very cool game. Really like Radlands. Balance it however you want. Remember, once you buy a game, it is yours. You can do what you want with it, whatever your little heart desires. It's nice to talk about games. It's nice to discuss strategy and how you can employ different strategies in order to be better at the game. But I'd argue that first and foremost, this is a fairly casual game compared to something like Magic or other TCJs, or CCJs, sorry, because CCJs, players have invested a lot more into them than a game like Radlands. So the discussion of tactics and strategy becomes a more fundamental aspect of the enjoyment of the game, but it comes as a result of just there being so many cards and so many ways to play. Radlands is a fairly straightforward, fairly casual, nice little game that will scratch the itch of a CCJ without breaking your bank or without forcing you to read a 500-page FAQ, or very, I think, topically, it won't have cards made illegal overnight because of reasons. Like I said, I don't play Magic that much anymore, but I do get Instagram reels about Magic all the time. I guess there was a couple of cards that were just banned from Commander that has upset a lot of people. That's not going to happen in Radlands. It's too casual for that. People aren't going to get upset. We got upset when we had those when those the cards that we've taken out of the game, when they really bombed a couple of games for us, and it was a couple of games, right? It's not just one game where we decided this card's unbalanced. No, we ran it a few times to see, can we run the strategy again? Is this strategy preventable? Right? We did it many times, and we found that it wasn't, like, you couldn't stop it. The opponent could not stop a double barrage if the person got one early enough and was able to wait and or fish for the second one. As soon as they employed it, it was basically game over every single time. So we played the game a lot, but it's not a game to get super bent out of shape about. Like I say, we took those cards out, and now we love the game. We play it all the time, like all the time. If we want to play Magic the Gathering, this is, or we've watched a reel or two too many that are about Magic and remembering our glory days, then we just play Radlands. Yes, okay. All right, I'm done with this one. She gets jealous. Yes, yes. You know you get. She knows she gets jealous, and then she doesn't like to. She wants to be held, and then doesn't want to be held. Cats, am I right? Okay, okay. But yes, Simon from Moonstar Board Games. Looking forward to the next one.